This is a video by Richmond. Today we're working on a Saturn S series. Now, have you ever run into this problem on your Saturn? Intermittent no start, intermittent stall after startup, or loss of your radio presets. It could be your fuse block. And what happens is you overload on the cigarette lighter. Say you put a charger for your cell phone or your radio. You have a high-powered radio. It puts too much stress on that fuse box. So we're going to get in there and we're going to check it out and see if we have to replace it, or in some cases just a cleaning will do. Now the first thing we need to do is to remove this cover right here on the left side of the forward piece of the console, and we want to disconnect the negative battery cable from the battery, and then we're going to start going into that fuse box and pulling the connector out to inspect it. Now the forward block right there has a 7mm bolt that secures it, so we want to loosen that right now. Alright, the bolt is loose, so now we want to pull out the block. Just like that. Now what you want to look for on the Gen 2 is F5. Here's A, B, C, D, E, F, and then count up 5, and they're numbered. Right there is F5. Now look at this one. This one's been overloaded. See the heat that was taking place here? This is not a good fuse box. Now, if it didn't look like that, what you could do is you could take some Scotch-Brite and go right in there and clean that pin, because she's probably loose on the female side. So clean this male side right here, and then we'll deal with the female side. So if it's charred like this, go on and try to find a better block, but this is a bad one right here. Look at the female side of F5 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. How she's charred. Not very good. Now let's presume that it was in good shape. So what you want to do is to remove it, clean it, and respring it. Now I'm not going to show you that one because that's probably going to be a little hard to get out because it's mangled. Alright, let's try this one right here. See this right here? We got to remove that. Isn't much to it. Pull that out. Now, what I've got here is a 1/8 welding rod. It's pounded down. Makes a good tool to remove the or spring the little retainer out of the way. Okay, we're going to tackle this one right here. Right where the rounded part is right there. You want to put your tool right in there. Jiggle it around, and hopefully that will flatten the piece, which it didn't. Alright, let's try it again. I think we got it that time. Okay, there we go. So this is what you would do if it wasn't burnt. And what you want to do, get a small piece of your cleaner here, Scotch Brite. You could even take a little bit of your tool right here and work that in there like that. Make sure she's nice and clean. And then what we want to do is we want to respring it. Make sure she's nice and tight. Just kind of make sure she's okay. And so now that spring piece right there is nice and tight right up towards the top, because it will engage into the pin. Let me show you here. When you put the two halves together, what happens is it goes on just like this. There. See how you want to make good contact? Nice and tight like that. And if your pin and this part is in good shape, that should fix your F5, F2 problem. Now here is a block off of a Gen 3, and you can see that this does not have F5 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's nothing there. So you want to check F2, that one right there, if you have a Gen 3. Now if we look at this one right there, we can see this one's in good shape. Everything looks really good on this one. And if we look at the pins also, let's go in there and see if we can take a look at those. On this Gen 3, the pins look in good condition. So that's all there is to fixing a F5, F2 problem on your Saturn S series.